people would know you as a supercar driver, but you've raced on the dirt for like a number of years, and you've even won an Australian title, haven't you, in the sedans?
Yeah, obviously growing up watching Dad in modified production, so yeah, I guess growing up around Speedway quite a lot, and in 2014 we got a late model which we raced for a couple of years, which was quite good to fill in the gaps when I was racing Dunlop series.
Yep.
You know, because I was only doing 7 or 8 rounds a year. Wanted to be able to race something else on the side that was, you know, fast and heavy, and even though late models aren't that heavy, but yeah, that kind of filled in that gap. And then obviously when I stepped into supercars, it was a little bit harder for me to run them.
Sure.
And then yeah, got the opportunity to race the modified with Travis Shaw, who used to crew on Dad's modifieds when he was racing. So it was a pretty cool link with that, and yeah, managed to have a little bit of success along the way, which has been, you know, it's been pretty cool. And for me, the next step in Speedway is to try and do sprint cars and you know, see how I go in one.
How did that come about, and why did you want to race a sprint car? Because obviously, you know, people would know you from the supercar scene, but you know, obviously you don't want to run around the back, and you want some people to teach you. You know, it's a different style of racing. How did that come about, racing a sprint car?
I guess I've always kind of wanted to race one eventually. Obviously, it's probably the pinnacle of Speedway in Australia, and I was at Avalon with one of my sponsors, Cole McQueen, watching the sprint cars, and we just had a bit of a laugh together, saying we should give this a crack. And yeah, 8 months later, he's, you know, bought a car, and we're doing it. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that and do it with you know, Colin, because, you know, we've had a pretty good relationship. He supported me from early Dunlop series days, and yeah, we're just having a lot of fun together on the way.
So was it difficult to convince like Tickford to let you do this, or is that something that they're cool with? Or I'm sure there's probably like some limitations with it, because you see in a lot of over in the States, a lot of NASCAR guys racing dirt all the time, and I've seen other guys like I know Gary Jacobson and Tim Slade and a bunch of the others of the supercars guys have had at least a run in a sprint car, not a race. But was it difficult to kind of convince them to let you do it?
Oh no, it's actually really easy. So I'm obviously very lucky to have you know, team owner and a team boss which support what I do, you know, outside of the supercar stuff. And you know, Rod used to race sprint cars back in the day, and Tim used to go to sprint car events quite a lot in his younger days. So they knew what it was all about, and yeah, weren't really too worried about obviously the hurting yourself. I guess there is always that element of risk in whatever you do, but yeah, you know, first time I suggested it to Tim, he said, "Oh, let me know when you're going to be running. I'll come and scrape some mud for you, or you know, swing some spanners." So yeah, pretty cool to have their support, and obviously other team owners don't see it in the same way as what my guys do. So yeah, very lucky.
What were your first impressions when you hopped in? I know you raced or you ran one up in, was it in Darwin a while back, but yeah, what are your first impressions? Are you comparing it in your head to supercars or other cars you've driven?
Yeah, they're just totally different. It's yeah, everything's kind of, even to, you know, the late model and the modified, all the, you know, the driving techniques are just backwards. So, you know, it takes you a little while to reprogram your brain to you know, maximize the car. And then yeah, it's even totally different again to the supercar. So for me, I like challenging myself, and I'm really enjoying the challenge of learning a new car, new philosophy, and you know, putting that to practice and trying to be quick in the thing. And took me a little while just to work out what you had to do in the thing to make it go around the corner. Obviously, the wings are pretty unique in the cars with how you have to yaw them and open them up to make them work. And you know, they're so light and so much power, so they accelerate so fast. But in the supercar, your top speed's so much higher. So it's just a different sense of driving and driving, you know, two totally different cars. But yeah, absolutely loving the sprint car just because it's challenging and so unique and so different to everything else I've driven. You know, I've driven old F1 cars and GT cars and all these things. So yeah, they definitely compare. You know, they're right up there, and yeah, just a lot of fun.
I watched your practice laps at Warrnambool from last week, and I was like, oh, we'll check out how he's going here. And I noticed that first you lifted going into turn one, and I thought, oh, he's probably going to take a while to learn to really stay on the gas going into the corner. But then the next lap and then the lap after, I'm like, oh, he stayed on the gas all the way around. So it was, I'm not sure what practice session that was throughout your day, but no, you looked pretty good.
Yes, it's one thing, I guess, doing practice laps. You know, at Warrnambool when there's no cars around the track's pretty good, and it's more about just holding on. But you know, you got to do that with cars around you, and that's the challenging part. So for me, the test day was really good to be able to try a few things in the car and work out what makes them tick and go around, and that I think really helped me for the next weekend at Warrnambool. Just being able to draw on that kind of short experience that I've got in different circumstances to get the most out of the car. So yeah, definitely you got to be on the gas to make the things turn, and just the way you ride the brake and all that stuff as well is a little unique.
Yeah, it really is a lot more than just driving around in circles. What was the help from James McFadden and Corey McCulloch like? Because they're two pretty experienced dudes. What were they saying to you when you were there at Warrnambool?
Oh, they were absolutely awesome to come and give me a hand. The first run in the car, it wasn't that pretty, but a lot of that was just what I was doing in the car, and James and Corey picked that straight away, and that was awesome because I'm still learning. It would have taken me a lot longer to kind of work that out for myself. So to have someone like those guys there to give me a little bit of feedback straight away, it just kind of fast tracks what you're trying to achieve. So they helped me a lot with driving stuff, a little bit with car setup, and just chasing different things through the night. So running the top to the bottom is two totally different things also. So yeah, there's so many things that they help with.
Where are you at with the car in terms of setup? Like, can you say we need to snug the right rear in a little bit? I'm too free getting in, or are you still kind of like numb to those feelings?
Starting to change the car a little bit, and after some heats, I'm like, yeah, that's way too tight, or that was way too free. Still learning kind of the setup things to do throughout a night, but they're very lucky to have good people around me that kind of know those things as well. So I usually can tell what the car's doing. I just don't really know how to fix it. And, we've got some good guys on the car helping out. And then also having, James and Corey to complement that at race meetings. Definitely helping us.
I know when I raced a sprint car that you really notice that a sprint car makes the track rapidly go away more than any other car, like any other speedway car. What is it like with a supercar and a sprint car in comparison on the tracks that they race as far as grip level? Does the grip level change as much in a supercar as much as what a sprint car does on a speedway?
It's a pretty good question, to be honest. Like in the supercar, your tire deg at particular tracks can be really, really bad. And you can, at SMP, for example, you can be 4 seconds slower on an old tire.
Wow.
So if you go from a hard tire, which we did last year, which is old, to a brand new soft, you go so much quicker, and that's probably a kind of a similar feeling that you get with a sprint car. From the early on in the night, where you're pretty well just wide open, to the end of the night where it's real slick. You have to change your driving style and what you do in the car so much. So I guess in that respect, there is probably some similarities, but it depends track to track and what tires are on the car and all those sorts of things.
Are you happy with how you've been going? Because looking at your results, you started in front of some pretty good cars on the weekend at Warrnambool, and I mean, they're no slouches. Those are guys that race just about every week. Yeah,
I think Warrnambool, we probably turned the corner a little bit. I think the test day helped us a heap. And it was just good to go back to a track that I'd been to and kind of understood it to get going. And, our goal this year was to make an 8 main, and we managed to do that, which was, really cool. And for us, it's just continuing to improve and continuing to learn and yeah, we're doing that. So we're just going to try and do as many as we can for the this season, and hopefully that'll put us in a good spot to start next year.
That was my next question, is what are your future plans? Is this like a continual thing where you'll keep racing for the next, few seasons in a sprint car, or are you not expecting to do too many shows? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I think we got another 6 planned for this year before obviously the winter. And yeah, the plan going forward is to do a few more seasons in the thing for sure. It obviously depends on my commitments with the supercar staff, and as long as Colin's still enjoying it and we're both having fun, then we're going to do it. So yeah, so far so good. We're enjoying it. We're having fun. We're learning, and yeah, we'll just take it, I guess, season by season at the moment.
You're down south, but are you planning on like moving around a fair bit? There's sprint car racing in Queensland, New South Wales. We're getting a brand new track here in Sydney at the end of this year, and obviously there's racing over in Perth and that. Do you plan on traveling around, or do you want to keep it more local?
I'm not really too sure. I think we'll be doing a lot of the local stuff, but I think eventually we'll probably try and do a few of the bigger shows away. So yeah, I guess right now we're just working out what we can do in the short term, and be competitive first before we go traveling around too much. So we'll worry about that, and then we'll probably try and travel a little bit also.